संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री मायपुर धाम की जय। श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय। अंग्रेज भक्ति स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the Samud devotees. Nitai Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. Om Gyantiviram Syandanam Śukle Chaksuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manodishtam Sthavitam Yena Bhutale Svayambhuva Manu Dharati Swapadantikam.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakāpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha patitānām pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swāmini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Udaya Matrema Prabhu Vakshatir Mushupurusha Bhumte Ganam Sadasa Sadasatmaka Krishna Bhagavan Vachamsine. Hare Krishna. First of all, I wanted to thank all the devotees for coming, even though it was announced who is going to give the class. I would never personally come to my class because I know what I have to say. But I guess for you it's all different. So, I can try to say something only with your kind blessings, starting with the blessings of senior most Vaishnavas here. So, Prabhupada disciples, Rameshwar Prabhu and Goshtapur Prabhu, others, and our esteemed GBC. So, I'll be counting on your blessings, and actually it's within your interest to give me a blessing so that you could hear something worthwhile. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So we are reading 3rd canto, 21st chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, conversation between Manu and Kardama. Text 35 and 36, which is on board. So I'll read 35 and then we'll chant 36 responsively. Atha samprasthite śukle Kardama Bhagavan Rishi Astesma Bindu-sarovara Tam kalam pratipalayan. Then, after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the bank of Bindu-sarovara, awaiting the time of which the Lord has spoken. Text 36, please chant responsively. Manuḥ syandanam āsthāya. Manuḥ syandanam āsthāya. śātakaumbha paricchadam. śātakaumbha paricchadam. āropya svām duhitaram. āropya svām duhitaram sa-bhāryaḥ sa-bhāryaḥ manuḥ syandanam āsthāya śātakaumbha paricchadam āropya svām duhitaram sa-bhāryaḥ Synonyms: manuḥ, Svayambhuva Manu, syandanam, the chariot, āsthāya, having mounted, paricchadam, the outer cover, āropya, putting on, svām, we've missed, śātakaumbha, made of gold, paricchadam, the outer cover, āropya, putting on, svām, his own, duhitaram, daughter, sa-bhāryaḥ, along with his wife, paricchadam, traveling all over, manuḥ, the globe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Svayambhuva Manu, with his wife, mounted his chariot, which was decorated with golden ornaments. Placing his daughter on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth. Purport: the Emperor Manu, as the great ruler of the world, could have engaged an agent to find a suitable husband for his daughter, but because he loved her just as a father should, he himself left his state on a golden chariot with only his wife to find her a suitable husband. End of the purport. Hare Krishna. So we'll read both translations one more time. Then, after the departure of the Lord, the worshipful sage Kardama stayed on the bank of Bindu-sarovara, awaiting the time of which the Lord had spoken. Svayambhuva Manu, with his wife, mounted his chariot, which was decorated with golden ornaments. Placing his daughter on it with them, he began traveling all over the earth. Hare Krishna. So, it's a very interesting story, but when I was requested to give a class and saw that the whole purport is only one sentence long, first I was thinking, how much can we speak about it? And actually, I've even listened to 4 classes on the topic. Luckily, on the internet everything is available. And to be honest, every single devotee I've listened to didn't speak on the subject of the verses. He spoke on something else. I remember Hridayananda Maharaja's joke. He said, typical ISKCON class, you read translation and purport and just speak about something, whatever you want to speak about, not touching the subject. But I didn't really want to do that. But then I realized that it's actually a very, very deep verse and purport. Actually, the 2 verses, both are very deep, because the previous one, which describes Kardama Muni, anyway, first we should say a few words of prehistory, because it's very powerful story of the appearance of the Supreme Lord, prehistory of his appearance, Shri Kapila Dev, by whose mercy we have such powerful understanding of everything material and spiritual, whatever is available, a full knowledge. And so he was born as the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. So Kardama Muni is a very powerful personality. Chapter 12 of this canto describes that he came as a shadow son of Lord Brahma. Don't ask me for details. What does it mean to be a shadow son? Before I only heard of shadow ministers in UK government. What does it mean to be a shadow son? I have no idea. But yeah, he is the direct son of Lord Brahma. And as all his children, pretty much, he was assigned with the same task to generate progeny, procreate, and he obediently followed. But before that, he went on to engage himself in very serious spiritual practices. At the time in Satya Yuga, as we understand, the main spiritual practice was meditation, and he meditated for 10,000 years. And then he achieved the full success. He saw the Supreme Lord face to face, which seemed to be an awful long time, 10,000 years of meditation for us, for residents of Kali Yuga. But if you look at the span of life, people had 100,000 years. So 10,000 years is just 1/10 of one's life. So 10,000 years is an equivalent of 10 years, which is pretty fast. How many of you are practicing Krishna consciousness for more than 10 years? The majority here. So, yeah, I won't be asking how many of you saw the Supreme Lord face to face and had a conversation with him. But yeah, Kardama Muni had, as we know from the previous verses. And that's not even a record, because the top record belongs to Dhruva Maharaj. Just 6 months, within 6 months he saw the Supreme Lord. So, and so Kardama Muni was meditating for 10,000 years, and finally he got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. And as traditionally, he was glorifying the Supreme Lord first, and then he asked him to give him facility to follow the order of his father, right? To procreate. So he wanted a suitable wife for himself, which is totally normal in his case. And the Lord blessed him, he fulfilled his desire, and he predicted everything which is about to happen. And here in this part of the chapter we see how this prediction comes true. Exactly on the day the Lord said it will happen, it happened. Svayambhuva Manu arrived to his ashram with his family, with his wife, and with his daughter Devahuti. And it's explained in text 35 that he was situated on the bank of Bindu-sarovara. And in later texts and purports, it will be elaborated what is the lake Bindu-sarovara. That this is the lake which was created from the tears of the Supreme Lord, which he shed when he saw Kardama Muni out of love for him, because he, was involved in very heavy meditation. Actually, it will be described that he looked pretty soiled after these 10,000 years of meditation. Actually, one of the meaning of the names Kardama means mud or dirt, something like that. So I suppose these things are connected. And yet he achieved pretty powerful yoga perfection, which we will learn from future chapters, how he, just to fulfill the desire of his wife, created the whole flying city for her. So he was pretty much capable of using all 8 mystic perfections. And it's been explained that Devahuti was also a powerful yogini. So she also achieved topmost level in yoga, samadhi, right? So Prabhupada briefly mentions 8 stages of yoga. Was that what is it called in Sanskrit? Slipped my mind. Ashtanga yoga. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharam, dhyana, samadhi. So she achieved all perfection of all these levels. So a good match. Powerful yogi, an accomplished yogini. And what is the result? Not just someone who is a powerful yogi, but Yogeshwar himself, Shikapila Dev Bhagavan, comes as their son. So that's pretty good example that if husband and wife are perfect yogis, they can have even the Supreme Lord as their son. And in this verse we've chanted, it's been described exactly how Svayambhuva Manu arrived to see the sage. And Svayambhuva Manu is also a very, very important personality, because first of all, he is one of the Mahajans, right? Svayambhur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manu Pralada Janaka Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakivayam. So 12 Mahajans as they listed in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Manu in the list refers to Svayambhuva Manu, very important Manu. Author of Manu Samhita, which is still very popular in India. The law book for mankind, as Srila Prabhupada says. So he wrote Manu Samhita. And so being the direct son of Brahma, actually we understand that him and Kardama Muni are brothers, direct brothers. They have the same father. And so he is bringing his daughter for Kardama Muni to marry. And he comes on the top of, in a golden chariot. Very interesting, very opulent king, emperor. And I listened to one class in where it's been explained that before only kings would ride on chariots, but nowadays we can see that everyone has chariot pretty much, especially in the Western world. Doesn't require even horses, and each of the chariot has tens or hundreds or even many hundreds of horsepowers. And so it's very interesting. Actually, I was thinking that in this Kali Yuga, we are living better than the kings of the past. Because even the kings, the chariot was driven by maximum how many horses? Maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 at most. But now the cheapest car has how many horsepower? 40, 50 at least, right? So the cheapest car is more powerful than the greatest chariot of the kings of yours. And not even the greatest king in the previous times could afford, mangoes from Egypt, cherries from South America, or apples from Russia, etc. But nowadays, even in here in Mayapur, gradually, you look around the stores and you have so many rare imported goods from all over the world. Even fresh fruits from everywhere. What to speak of other countries. So even a layman can put on his table so many fresh fruits from all over the world, right? And not a single king we heard of. Kardama Muni could do that, but it was very rare. Even in Satya Yuga, someone flying around. But nowadays, all of you who are visiting Mayapur, you came flying. And you didn't have to practice yoga for tens of thousands of years for that. Just had to purchase tickets for, pretty cheap price and come here. So it's interesting how one godbrother of Srila Prabhupada, Sadananda Prabhu, who came from Germany, and he was initiated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Interesting that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had disciples from other countries. Not so many, but still he was reaching out to the Western world with his preaching also. And so as Prabhupada quotes him in Nectar of Devotion, without mentioning his name, he said, I have one godbrother who is a scientist from the West. So he was from Germany, who said, all the accomplishments of mystic yoga has been already achieved long time ago by the modern science. So people can fly in the sky like birds. People can, swim underwater like fishes. And this is from Sagara Swami. The only thing they have to learn is to live on the land as human beings. That's all. Everything else has been achieved. So he said, science achieved it all, so there is no need to practice mystic yoga. So the only yoga which is left to practice is Bhakti-yoga. And so he took up to Krishna consciousness. So we can understand, interestingly enough, the very interesting Kali Yuga we are living in. And of course, why this Kali Yuga is so special? Because a very special Yuga avatar came this Kali Yuga just recently, just little bit over 500 years ago. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu blessed us with his presence, and he started Sankirtan movement. And holy name is Chintamani. So anyone who is chanting the holy name, he not only gets all benefits personally, but he blesses everybody who come across the holy name with the fulfillment of all desires. So Chintamani means a touchstone which fulfills all desires. And so, should we be surprised that people live in such opulence in Kali Yuga? They should be suffering, they should be living in miserable lives. But because they have so many material desires, and somehow they were lucky enough to live in this Kali Yuga, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Kali Yuga, all their material desires are fulfilled. The Lord fulfills all their material desires. Of course, they get frustrated because how many material desires you can have? After all, you can come to the dead end and realize, I'm still not happy. But why the Lord is giving such facility? To help people understand that there is no happiness in this world. And interestingly enough, you can realize that there is no happiness in this world if you have everything. Because if you have nothing, you may have a hope that when I will have everything, I will be happy. But when you have everything and there is no happiness, that makes you think, what's wrong? Any of you had this experience? You had everything materially but no happiness? Yeah, you can see. So this is how we become Krishna conscious. So that's also a mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the most important point from this specific verse, Srila Prabhupada highlights in his purport. He says that, reading the purport again, the Emperor Manu, as the great ruler of the world, could have engaged an agent to find a suitable husband for his daughter, but because he loved her just as father should, he himself left his state on a golden chariot with only his wife to find her a suitable husband. So love, we might think, just love of the father towards his daughter, pretty typical thing, right? As we know from psychology, fathers love daughters more and mothers love sons more, right? So this is how it works. So obviously, father would be very attached to the daughter, but where the love is originating from. And this was the love which was as pure as it could get, because Svayambhuva Manu is very powerful Vaishnava, representative of the Supreme Lord. And his love for his daughter is actually spiritual. And it reflects Krishna's love towards his children. Because the whole Bhagavatam is meant to glorify the Supreme Lord. Every single verse, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is only glorifying Krishna, including this verse. It glorifies Krishna. Of course, it glorifies Krishna in a form of Vishnu, who predicted it all, and then it's happening. But then it glorifies Krishna's love towards everybody. So Svayambhuva Manu loves his daughter. Of course, Srila Prabhupada mentions many, many times, and I suppose if Srila Prabhupada would ever talk on this particular verse, he would definitely remind us again that according to Vedic culture, there are 5 types of living entities requiring full care and protection, which are women, children, old men, brahmanas, and cows. And so, Devahuti is both young women as well as the child of Svayambhuva Manu naturally. He also shows the example how to follow Vedic culture by taking direct care of her. But then Srila Prabhupada raises this question. I mean, he is a very powerful emperor. He could engage some agent. There is a very interesting story of Akbar and Birbal, as probably most of you are familiar with these stories. Birbal, he was a Vaishnava minister, prime minister, in the court of a Muslim king, Akbar, who was also pretty special personality. And I suppose he got influenced in Krishna consciousness through the association of Birbal, as he was known in the Muslim court, but his actual name is Mahesh Das. So he was a great Vaishnava. And he would always surprise Akbar with his wit and, quick wit and deep wisdom. And Akbar was very impressed with Krishna consciousness, Vaishnavism, through Birbal. And one time he said, Birbal, how is it that, Bhagavatam describes that Lord Vishnu personally came to save Gajendra from the mouth of crocodile, even though he could, employ anyone else or, save him through so many other means? What was the use of his personal coming and saving Gajendra? And Birbal was saying, well, this is love, Your Majesty, because the Supreme Lord loved Gajendra so much, he came personally. He said, I understand love, but it's not practical. Why the Lord had to bother himself to come all the way from Vaikuntha to save Gajendra and bless the crocodile as well? When Srila Prabhupada speaks on the Leela, he says, when the Lord, through his Sudarshana chakra, Gajendra was saved from the grip of crocodile, and crocodile was also saved. Crocodile went back to the spiritual world. Why he was so blessed? Because this crocodile had a foot of Vaishnava in his mouth. So, anyway, Akbar was very, doubtful why the Lord had to come himself. And no matter how hard Birbal tried to explain, he couldn't understand. But then Birbal said, Your Majesty, give me little time, I will help you to understand this point. And then after a while, after Akbar kind of forgot about the discussion, Birbal made very special arrangement. He spoke to a nurse who was looking after the grandson of Akbar. So he created a little conspiracy plan. And when Akbar was taking a walk in his park where there was a big and pretty deep pond for swimming, he saw, this nurse, and Akbar, of course, being a king, he was followed by serious entourage, so many servants and other people. And so he saw a nurse kind of holding his grandchild on his lap, and then kind of, maybe falling asleep or something, and the grandchild, as it seems, slipped off his hand and fell into the water and started drowning. And when Akbar saw that, he shouted and he started running towards the pond, and he threw his, on the way he threw his crown, he threw his sword and everything, and his heavy dress, and he jumped into this pond. And he rescued what he was thinking to be his grandson, but then it was a doll resembling his grandson. And then when he came out of the pond with the doll, he was furious. He said, "What's going on here?" And then Birbal said, "Your Majesty, I arranged this." You remember the discussion we had? Why the Supreme Lord came from Vaikuntha to save Gajendra? I told you because of love, but you said he had so many servants. Because of love, he could send some servant. So because you loved your grandchild, you didn't ask anyone. You jumped personally into the pond. You had so many servants surrounding you. But you didn't even think to ask anyone because your love was so great. And of course, we didn't want to risk the real grandson, so we arranged a doll to drop into the pond just to prove the point. So, okay, you can imagine Akbar all wet with the doll in the hand. Okay, now I got the point. So, yeah, but this is the most important point in Krishna consciousness, that Krishna loves everybody, because everybody in all species of life is his child. Sarva yonisha kaunteya aham bija pradapita, as Bhagavad Gita explains. And this is most amazing quality of the Supreme Lord, that he loves everyone. As Bible says, God is love, right? And Srila Prabhupada would say that Jesus Christ is one of our gurus, right? He was pretty unhappy one time. He saw a cross on the wall somewhere, and with tears in his eyes, he said, "What a rascal people, they crucified their guru." So, yeah, God is love. And this is the most amazing thing. And actually, what is Krishna consciousness? That is realizing Lord's love towards me and trying to do little something to reciprocate with that love. Remember how it is explained? I mean, many of you have passed Bhakti Shastra, many of you know Bhagavad Gita pretty well. What is the most often repeated statement in Bhagavad Gita? Anyone can tell me? What is the statement in Bhagavad Gita which recurs dozens of times? The same statement. What the Lord is stressing more than anything else. Yada yada hi dharmasya? No, he just said it once. Well, surrender he mentions 5-6 times, but not more than that. Think of him not so many times also, maybe 10 times maximum. Man mana bhavamat bhakta, only 2 times he said. Anyway, that no matter how many devotees ask, no one can come up with the right answer. Tadviti pranipatana also not. Only once. Huh? Very dear to me, maybe around 10 times, but not more than that, he says. Even less than that. Huh? Do devotional service, not so many times also. Anyway, remember, for life, the most often repeated statement in Bhagavad Gita is, "Do not be attached to the fruit of your labor." Detachment is the statement which is repeated throughout Bhagavad Gita many, many times. I counted at least 40 times. He said the same thing. anashita karma phalam karyakaram karma Chariot, etc. So, detachment, be detached. And if we ask ourselves, how can we be detached from our desires, right? Because desire is part of living entity. As long as we live, we have desires. And so, how do we serve the Lord forgetting about all our desires? That's a tough question. Okay, I'll ask you a more simple question. How many of you want to be permanently happy in Krishna consciousness? Okay, remember just one thing. There is one major difference between miserable and happy people. Would you like to know which one? So miserable people, just remember, just in case if you want to make yourself miserable, you will know the formula. How to make yourself miserable. Miserable people are always thinking of what they are lacking in their life for happiness, right? Just think of what you want, what you haven't achieved, and you will become either anxious or depressed, right? Very easy. And the opposite, happy people are always thinking about what? What they have. And they are happy with so many blessings they have. And I mean, in relation to any of us, we could easily count our blessings and we will not have enough fingers on both hands and probably not even enough beads on our japa mala to count our blessings. How many of you agree that we have so many blessings it's hard to count? If you think of those, you can be fully satisfied. And if you think of the one who gives you all the blessings, you will be totally happy in Krishna consciousness. So that's easy formula to be always happy. So attitude of gratitude, that's well-known formula. If you want to be happy, if we are grateful for what Krishna gave us, and why Krishna is giving us, and how many of you would recognize that most, if not all the things you've gained by Krishna's mercy are not really deserved, but given as causeless mercy. So why Krishna is giving us so many things we do not even deserve? Why is that? Yeah, because Krishna loves us. And there are so many examples of Krishna's love. We could sit here forever reflecting of the examples of Krishna's love, Lord Vishnu's love, what to speak of Lord Chaitanya's love towards his devotees and everybody else. So, but this is what devotional service is. Meditating on Krishna's love, on his causeless mercy, and trying to reciprocate with what we already gained in this lifetime. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind attention. We still have a few minutes. If there are any questions, comments, suggestions, complaints, you're welcome. Of course, if that would be for a measure rule, he would definitely reflect on Srila Prabhupada's love towards all, reflection of Krishna's love. As one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, how come that everybody loves you? And what was Srila Prabhupada's response? because I love everyone, so they love me too. As you decide, you have the microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, very interesting class and quite a lot of information. One question I have, when Kardama Muni was there, because it was in Satya Yuga, and he didn't have much of a distraction because there were not too many people at that time, and he could really focus on what he wanted to do. But now there are so many distractions, so many people, and whatever you want to take, there are so many, hundreds of opinions of course. So practically, how do we handle these things and focus on our Krishna consciousness?
How to focus, how to stay focused. Yeah, that's one of the most important verses. I mean, that's historical verse for us, because this verse and its purport served as inspiration for Srila Prabhupada to, accomplish such a great feat as traveling in his advanced age to the opposite side of the planet to spread Krishna consciousness. And the final drop came from the purport to this very powerful verse of Bhagavad Gita, 241. If any of you hasn't yet memorized that verse, we highly recommend, but those who know, let's chant it all together. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakaya nantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. So those who are on this path are very focused and they aim at the same goal. And those whose intelligence is many branched, they cannot focus like that. So yes, the distractions are very common, but then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur highlights the secret for applying this verse in our lives, and Srila Prabhupada repeats the same thing. He says the focus should be on fulfilling the instruction of our Guru Maharaj. So you ask me how to focus in Krishna consciousness, my answer would be impossible. Because who are we to focus on the Supreme Lord? But if we are focused on fulfilling the order of our Guru, then by his blessings, even impossible can become not possible but easy to accomplish. Hare Krishna. More? Okay. Any? Okay, John Master.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for a very enlightening class. I was just listening to a 2022 recording of a discussion that took place between Bhakti-yoga Swami and Niranjana Swami and the relationship with Srila Prabhupada. He was just saying, how Bhakti is all based upon relationship. That's what Bhakti-yoga Swami started. So we love, how to love, this is the first question we asked in Niranjana Swami. How do we love our Guru and Srila Prabhupada at the same time? How can we give our hearts to them? Very amazing answers that came from it. But, so if we try to please our Guru, then we also try to please our founder Chariot. It's like both barrels, like these shotguns that have two barrels in it. That's maybe a really bad example, but we get so much power from both. And of course our Guru is like, drawing all the mercy from Srila Prabhupada, but we can also have relationships with both of them without deviating, becoming rifts or anything like that, but it's just love. And we experience Prabhupada's love, we experience the love of our Guru, And we give them as much love as we can. The more love we get, the more we experience their love.
Yeah, thank you. I came across one very heated discussion amongst senior Vaishnavas. Whom should we meditate upon while chanting Gurvashtakam prayers? Should that be Srila Prabhupada or should that be our Diksha Guru? But for me, it didn't make any sense because there is no separation. And, personally, for me, it's very simple. It's parampara. It's Srila Prabhupada with his disciples. That's Gurvashtaka meditation for me because Srila Prabhupada is inseparable from his disciples. I mean, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, we can understand Srila Prabhupada, right? Without them, without their realization, what would we know about Srila Prabhupada? Nothing. How would we know Srila Prabhupada without Prabhupada Lilamrita, Satsvarup Maharaj? And there are so many other, Harishauri Prabhu's Transcendental Diaries. We can develop our relationship with Srila Prabhupada only by the mercy of his sincere disciples. And so for me, as Prabhupada would say, love me, love my dog, that's really crucial point in our development of Krishna consciousness. There should be no separation between these two because in India, everybody knows, right, that yoga means plus and V-yoga means minus, right? This, and we should not, we should not tear apart Srila Prabhupada and his disciples because it's artificial.
Thank you, Maharaj. Next time.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class. Maharaj, I want to know what happened. Krishna is a great devotee, and after he loved Krishna himself as a son, but after he was born, he left. Means it's kind of strange, he left to continue meditating. Why he didn't stay, Krishna himself had come.
Oh, Shukadev Goswami. Shukadev Goswami.
Sorry?
Shukadev Goswami, you meant to say, right? Oh, Kardama Muni.
Kardama Muni.
Oh, yeah.
He was meditating with Krishna. He do so much austerity with his wife, with the devotee. They have Krishna himself as a child.
Yes.
But the moment he born, he could stay serving him already. Krishna there, he left.
Yes. Very nice question, and actually the question is answered in Bhagavatam itself. In a purport, Srila Prabhupada raises this question and explains that Kardama Muni left, even though Kapiladev, the Supreme Lord, was in his own home, so he didn't have to go and search for the Supreme Lord anywhere elsewhere, but he was bound to show example to everybody. That's why he did. So, thank you. I suppose we should finish here. Thank you all very much. But the Vedic tradition is to finish on a sweet note. As many of you know, Madhurena Samapayat. So we have some Mahaprasad from Giriraj Govardhan. If any of you wish to take now, please come to the table. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yes.
Thank you for the
Hare Krishna.